Welcome back to Taiwan Outlook. Our guest today is the son-in-law of Taiwan, Mr. Matthew Hinson. He's editor and translator at GIO. Matt, you've been in Taiwan for several years. You have seen a lot of changes in Taiwan. What do you think is the most unique part of Taiwan's culture?
I think the most special part of Taiwan is the people here. Mm-hmm. I have yet to meet someone who has not been friendly and outgoing and just willing to go out of their way to help. Mm-hmm.
And I know you also experience going to China as well. Do you see any differences between the two societies?
People often ask me that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I see a genuineness of the warmth here, mm-hmm. and that's less so in China. I won't say they're unfriendly, they're not. Mm-hmm. But there's a slightly more feeling of isolation there, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. rather than here.
Yeah. I assume that when you first came here, you had to adapt yourself in different ways, lifestyles and so on. And at the very beginning, do you have any difficulties in adjusting yourself to the new society here in Taiwan?
Largely, no. Mm-hmm. But there is one thing that I still haven't gotten used to, and that's motorcycles on the sidewalks.
Uh-huh.
But
that's a tough one, huh?
That's a tough one.
Do you ride a bicycle?
I don't dare. I'm too scared.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
How about the sceneries in Taiwan? Any particular place that you love to go to, when you have time?
I love Kending, uh-huh. and I love Tainan.
Uh-huh. What is so special about Kending or Tainan?
Well, Kending I like because it's not overdeveloped.
Do you surf?
No.
No.
No. Swimming, no surfing. Uh-huh. But it's just a beautiful place to be, uh-huh. and it's quiet and calm. It's such a contrast, mm-hmm. to the hustle and bustle of the city.
Yeah, yeah.
Tainan I like because it's just got an old feeling to it, a feeling that there's a cultural heritage there.
Mm. Yeah. And I think you're coming at a time when Taiwan is in a transition in terms of its democratic development and so on. How do you see the democracy in Taiwan for the past few years?
Lively, mm-hmm. very lively. Taiwan's a democratic country. I don't know what else to say. It's a free-feeling place. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's and it also it feels safe. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Despite there's a lot of political contention and everything like that, but if you don't get involved in that, mm-hmm. then it's not that important. Yeah. People are people, and they're proud of their democracy, mm-hmm. as they rightly should be. Mm-hmm. They stick to their guns, and mm-hmm. that's okay too. Mm-hmm. But it's a strong place, mm-hmm. in terms of having become a democracy in this span of things overnight.
People are also complaining about the so-called media circus or media chaos. Do you have that kind of same feeling as well?
Well, I pretty much have stopped watching the news because I'm not interested anymore. I feel it's too predictable. Uh-huh. If you watch Channel A or you read newspaper B, yeah. you know what they're going to say, yeah, before right. you even read it. Yeah. Chinese and English, both. Yeah. Now.
But your job, you have to read newspapers and to get information, right, from the media.
Well, that was more of an issue when I first started. Now, if I can just scan over the headlines, I get a basic idea of what's going on, and then if need be, then I'll pour into it and try to get the details out of mm-hmm. the political rhetoric.
That's right. And as an observer of Taiwan society from a foreign perspective, what do you think are the most challenges that Taiwan is facing right now?
A lack of vision. Mm-hmm. I don't know, maybe there is a vision.
Yeah.
But
you don't sense it, yeah.
I don't sense a grand design or purpose. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if there should be one. I don't know of anywhere where there is one. Mm-hmm. But I feel like Taiwan is walking forward, mm-hmm. but not quite sure where it's walking to.
So the direction is not very clear-cut for some.
From my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And one reason for that, some people suggest is because two people focus only on how to manage cross-strait issues only. But there are also other relations that we should be paying attention to, relations with the U.S., Japan, and Europe, and so on. Do you think that's the reason why that we are preoccupied with some domestic or regional issues?
Well, I think, as you said, Taiwan's in a transitional phase.
Mm-hmm.
Democracy has just begun. Taiwan is trying to find its way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's maybe a natural thing. The countries of Eastern Europe that have democratized, they're also trying to find their way.
Mm-hmm. And your job is try to present Taiwan to the world and try to convey the message or convey the facts in Taiwan about Taiwan to the world. But as we discussed, it's in transition. So in this transitional process or transitional period, do you find difficulty in presenting, as you said, consistent messages or coherent messages to other societies?
Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because the demands put on us by various government agencies or whatever, they have their own vision of what they want to say. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, I think there remains a consistency at least in our own publications, because we try to be neutral at all costs. Mm-hmm. So that allows us to stay on message.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But in addition to bring Taiwan to the world, I think your job, one of your job, is to bring the world to Taiwan. In other words, to make ourselves or the society in Taiwan more connected to the world. Some people suggest that people in Taiwan or the Taiwan in general has been more and more isolated, and that's the reason why they don't have a vision to look far beyond short-term events. What do you think about Taiwan's international situation now? It's getting more isolated or more globalized?
I think, on balance, it's becoming more globalized.
Uh-huh.
Yes, if you look only on the diplomatic, the official front, things are perhaps not so good.
Yeah.
But if you look at the commercial front, the educational front, I mean, tens of thousands of students from Taiwan go abroad every year.
Yeah.
That when they come back, if they choose to come back, they can't help but have an effect mm-hmm. on this country because their thinking will have changed.
Yeah.
So I think, on balance, it's becoming more globalized. Also, it doesn't have a choice but to.
Yeah.
It has to. You have to connect culturally, economically, mm-hmm. with the rest of the world if you're going to compete and survive.
Mm-hmm. And let's come back to the GIO's role in this transitional phase. The role of government in general has been changing. In other words, you have to adjust yourself to the new society, new world, and so on. What do you think about the role of the GIO in this, globalized and information outflowing, inflowing a society now?
Well, I think the role the GIO could play is more one of advertising Taiwan to specific groups. Mm-hmm. To students, hey, you want to learn Chinese? Come here. Mm-hmm. To tourists, you want to come to a beautiful island? Come here. Mm-hmm. Things of that nature. Mm-hmm. Whereas now, I think we're doing more general. Informational mm-hmm. Kind of public diplomacy.
Yeah. People have been talking about, just like your idea, to brand Taiwan and try to sell Taiwan to a more specific target audience, foreign audience. If you were the GIO director, how will you do and what will you do to brand Taiwan and to sell Taiwan to the world?
I think I would start by cooperating with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to relax visa restrictions. Uh-huh. That's the first thing I would do, because then I could embark on a program of trying to entice more students, more tourists mm-hmm. to Taiwan. I think the tourism industry in Taiwan is something that is lacking. Mm-hmm. I think there has been a focus in recent years on the possibility of people from China coming. And while that is one market
That's right.
for tourists, you can't neglect Europe, you can't neglect Japan, the United States, all these other countries whose people have the money to travel. And Taiwan especially, put in a plug for Kending, a beautiful place, nice beaches. So if I was the GIO, I think I would try to work on that.
Finally, personally, what's the most fulfilling part of your job at the GIO?
I think the most fulfilling part of my job at the GIO is knowing after we have done a translation or an essay or what have you, that it is good. Even if we don't get a response, just knowing that it's good, that's very fulfilling.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for coming to our program.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for watching Taiwan Outlook, and see you next time.